Many people know the Air Force Academy due to the success of their sports teams, most notably football, which competes on a national stage most weekends in the fall. What people don't realize when they watch games is that the mission of the Academy is far greater than sports. It's about building the future leaders of the air and space forces. Oftentimes, these future leaders grow out of athletes who made a choice to bring their athletic prowess to Colorado Springs. Athletes like Tom Bellairs, a standout at Mullen High School in Denver, who had no idea about the Academy when he was recruited.
I was recruited to some different schools, etc., and you get letters in the mail, and so I'd have some of those. For the Air Force Academy, I distinctly remember I was in our weight room at my high school, Mullen High School in Denver, and the coach brought this package to me. The package was about this big, and he gave it to me. And I took that package and I took it immediately, threw it in the trash and said, I'm not a military man, not doing it. Thankfully, my coach was a little bit wiser than I was. 2 days later, he brings me into his office and says, hey, look, you got to take a chance. It's 60 miles down the road. It's an hour. They'll take you down and show you around. I went down here and I realized how great of an experience it could be. And I went to our prep school first. So I had a chance to kind of get in there without being fully committed and fully understand what was going on.
Having been convinced he might be a fit, Bellairs elected to take a shot as a cadet. He would soon learn the military would be a huge culture shock.
And yeah, it was an absolute culture shock. I mean, the first day, they give you this blue book and they say, read this and learn this. And the guy tells me, says, go over to the water buffalo and get water. And I thought he was joking because I'm literally looking for an animal somewhere. I'm like, why is he telling me that? I had no idea what I was doing. To go fill up my canteen at the water buffalo. So that's about how much I knew.
That shock was worth it. Tom became the Mountain West Co-Freshman of the Year, recording the highest single-season rebound total for a Falcon in 20 years. He was the only player on the season to average a double-double in conference play, and while his teams never did reach a pinnacle, Bellairs saw the fruits of that labor the following season as the Falcons won the Mountain West title.
But that's what a program is. I mean, someone has to be there to build it, and we wanted it to do that. And I was ecstatic because, I was sitting right here in Clune Arena when we beat San Diego State because that was the year I was coaching down at the prep school. And I couldn't be happier for the guys because the reality is, especially at the Academy, it's just that long blue line. So whether the guys won it in 2004 or 2014 or whatever year it is, we're all very happy for each other because we want all of us to succeed, and we expect more of it.
After graduating, Tom was still able to enjoy his love for basketball, traveling the world, playing with the Armed Forces team, even helping them to a gold medal in Belgium.
I played about 10 years with all Armed Forces basketball, traveling the world playing basketball against pro teams. I played against Yao Ming one time, different guys in China, etc. Playing basketball. So there's every opportunity you could have going anywhere else, that opportunity exists right here at the Academy. And if for whatever reason basketball doesn't work out, you have a job, a guaranteed job to fall in, a good job, you have a great education, you have a connection to network, and you have people that are going to try to help you get to where you want to be or where you need to be. So there's really no downside to coming here because everything is right there for you.
Now don't for 1 second think that it's been all fun and games for Colonel Bellairs. He worked in procurement for 5 years in Los Angeles, worked in weather satellites, worked in logistics in Afghanistan, had 2 stints as coach at the Academy, all while earning his MBA and PhD. All throughout his travels, he gained an appreciation for other cultures, foreign people, perhaps nowhere better than in Afghanistan, where he was charged with taking inventory of every single piece of equipment the U.S. had given to Afghan forces over 18 years.
The equipment was in caves, in boxes. I can't begin to explain to you where all this stuff was, and in just disarray everywhere. It was good because I would have a chance to interact with the Afghans, and I would usually have an interpreter or a translator, but I also found that a lot of the Afghans did speak English, and it was just interesting to me because they would ask me questions about, who's the best NFL team or the best NBA team. So you're having these real conversations, and you're like, wow, we seem to be so far apart, but the reality is we're really a lot closer together, at least at this level, than otherwise would appear to be.
You might say Tom has spent his entire life learning that it's the similarities in people that can really overcome differences. In the Air Force, he's seen that in countless countries around the world, but it all started with lessons on the hardwood.
Athletics down here on the basketball court or the hockey rink or the football field, that's where you really are practicing a lot of the stuff we learn on the military side or even in the academic classroom up there, but you're practicing it in real time in a reactive manner. You know, sometimes when we're up there, sometimes doing the military training events, we know when the training is, when it's coming, what we're doing, et cetera, so there's a little bit more time to prepare. But when you're down here and you have to tell a freshman, hey, you got to jump down there and get the loose ball, or if you break your nose, so be it, but we got to have that ball, we got to have that rebound. That's a little bit harder because it gets real.
He was in the muck all the time. He never gave up, he never gave in. He fought to build the program. And he was a huge part of why in year 4, all of a sudden, whoa. But for him personally, to use those words, the persistence, the never wavering. I mean, I really believe that that's the thing, those are the traits, the things that have stuck with him. And that's why basketball is so important here. That's why athletics are so important here. You know, they are the playing, that's the playing field. That's the experiment. That's where you put those things into practice. They're not just words in athletics. You got to do them. So you see what he is as a 40-year-old, and you can trace it back to that. That's pretty powerful stuff.
Very powerful stuff. And thankfully, there are a host of former athletes like Colonel Bellairs who feel obligated to keep serving.
The reality is, it just seems to me that there's a good chance to continue giving back, and that's what I want to do. I mean, that's what it is, right? You're in the service, so my plan is to continue to serve as much as I can and help those that are coming behind me to make sure we get closer and closer to, that target of world peace. I know it might be thousands of years away, but we can try.